Hello students, in this video we will see control systems introduction. Okay, so what exactly control system subject is all about, and why do you need to learn control systems? Very important subject in your lifetime. Now the knowledge what you gain in control systems will help you a lot in learning many other subjects. Being an engineer, this subject is very important for even an electrical engineering. This subject is an important subject for electronics and even telecommunication students. So control system is completely based on the stability of the system that you design. Now it can be a smart system, it can be intelligent system, or it can be artificial intelligence what you come across in your future. So any system that you take and any system that you are going to analyze mathematically, okay, so to analyze the device mathematically, you by writing a mathematical model, okay, so you need to have knowledge on control systems. So that is what you learn in this entire subject. You learn how to interpret the system by having a mathematical model of that particular mechanical system. So that is what you learn in this particular subject. So we learn block diagram reduction, we learn signal flow graph technique, we learn root locus method, we learn Routh-Hurwitz criteria, which are all used to know the stability, to find out the transfer function, and so on. Okay, so we also learn some sort of time response and frequency response of any given control system. So you all know that many systems, they are time variant, right? It changes in terms of time. So in such cases, we need to know what is the response of the system in terms of time variation. Okay, so there are certain systems which are time invariant, which doesn't change with respect to time. So in that case, we need to know for what frequency the system variation will happen. Okay, so anyway, so control systems is something where you people learn something related to mathematical model and something related to the response point of view in the control systems, and then you learn something related to the the stability definition that you perform, means you define the stability of a control system. Okay, so these are the various techniques in the entire 5 modules that you learn in this particular subject. Okay, so first thing is we'll see what is exactly control system. What is a system? Okay, what is a system and why it is called as a control system? Okay, so let us look into that definition. So a system is what? You all know a system. Human is a system. What why do we say human is a system? Human is made up of different parts of the body. Like I have hand is one part, I have head, I have nose, I have eyes, I have ear, and I have leg. Okay, so these are the various parts of human body where we can even call human as a system. Whether human is a control system or whether human is what type of control system, we'll see later. But human can be a system. What is that? System is a combination of or an arrangement of different physical components which act together as an entire unit to achieve certain objective. So you have different physical components, and then all those components are combined or attached or connected to each other, and then through those connections, this different components through connection will behave as one single body where that will do some task. Okay, so that particular connection will do some task. And why do that particular connection do some task? To achieve some goal. So such things where the physical components are connected together to do some task, to achieve some goal, is what a system is all about. Now for example, I have a plate or a bowl of rice on the table. Now if I want to eat that particular rice, okay, human will have certain connections here. Now what? To heat that particular to eat that particular rice, I need my hand to lift that rice. Okay, now will my hand work by itself? No, the signal is given by the brain. Okay, the signal will be given through the brain. Now the signal will be given to the brain through my eyes, right? My eyes sees the bowl of rice, and I will through my eyes, when I see there, I will feel that okay, there is rice and I should eat it, right? So eyes will give a signal to brain, and then in turn brain will give signal to my hand. and then the movement of the hand will happen to lift the rice, and I use my mouth to eat that rice. So see the different parts that we are using in our body to have that bowl of rice. Okay, so I am using hand, I am using mouth, I am using my eyes to see that, I am using my brain to give signals for various part of the body, and so on. So therefore these are different physical components which act together to perform certain tasks so that we can achieve some goal. Okay. Now when do we call a system as a control system? So control system is something which manages or commands, directs or regulates the behavior of other device or the system. Now for example, just now I told you I'll take a bowl of rice and I will eat it, right? Now how do I say human is a control system? Now think, instead of rice I'll give you something else in the bowl. Think I have a bowl of mud. Will human eat that? Now human has a control capability, right? I do have control facility in my body where I can differentiate rice and mud, and I can differentiate which would be edible to eat and which should not be consumed, right? So therefore I will avoid eating mud. I will never eat it, because I will say that mud is not the material which can be eaten by human. Okay, so if there is a rice, then I will eat. If there is a mud, I will avoid eating. That is what control is all about. Okay, now if I take only system, anything you do, anything I give you, you will do the task and you will achieve that goal. But to achieve a goal, I need not to have only system, I need to have system to be controlled. That is why control system is very important. Okay, so control system manages, commands, directs, regulates the behavior of other devices or systems using control loops. Okay, so when we use the word loops here, that is where the control loops makes the control system to be broadly classified into two different groups. We will see that. Okay, so therefore there are various types of control systems in our daily life that we people use, right? So we need to learn how the mathematical model concept are been defined for those control system. Now for example, your mobile phone without a SIM card, it is just an hardware where it doesn't do anything, right? Your mobile phone is without a SIM card, you cannot do chatting, you cannot do calling, nothing can be done. You need a SIM card so that any work or internet facility, whatever you want, you can put that into the mobile phone if there is a SIM card, right? Now a mobile phone is not just designed without doing some inner work by engineers. Okay, engineers actually do a lot of work to design a mobile phone. They try to interpret the mathematical model of the mobile phone. The design, the panel design itself is a big deal, let me tell you that. Okay, so the outer panel of a mobile phone will behave as a ground. That is why if you touch the panel, it doesn't shock you, right? It doesn't create any shock if you touch the panel while charging, because that outer panel itself will behave as a ground for a mobile phone. Okay, so therefore designing a panel itself is a big task, right? Designing a panel, weight of that particular panel, weight should not be very heavy material, you can't use it. Now inside that you have a circuit board where you need to design it, you need to model it, and circuits should be connected together so that it can work as a mobile phone. Okay, so that is what control system is all about. Okay, I hope you got a brief knowledge on what is system and what is control system. I think human example which I gave you is the best example which makes you to interpret what is control system is all about. Okay, now let us look into the control systems which are broadly classified into two different groups. Very, very important. They will give you this in the exam. First question, they will always ask you to differentiate open loop control system and closed loop control system. Okay, so anyway, so broadly classified into two groups, they are open loop control system and closed loop control system. Now before going further discussion, I'll just give you some examples of what is open loop control system and what is closed loop control system. Okay, I'll just take an example of traffic signal. Okay, we have plenty of traffic signals in Bangalore, right? So you people are fond of it, and I hope you people are aware of traffic signals, how it works. Now you are going, you will be standing in the traffic signal when it shows red in color. So what you do, you will stop your vehicle and you will wait for green signal to be shown. Once the green signal, I'm sorry, first it shows the orange, means it's an indication for you saying that okay, you can switch on the vehicle and you can move. and once the green signal shows, you will start moving your vehicle. Okay, think there is an ambulance which is coming in the same way, where there is huge density of vehicles in that particular traffic. Okay, density means huge number of vehicles that you see in the traffic signal, and ambulance is coming on the same way where the vehicle density is very high. Now what should the ambulance do? Now as of today, I think we all go side. I think we move our vehicle towards left side or right side, so that we will make a way for ambulance to move. That is what we do. But anyway, so this traffic signal what we have in Bangalore, it is like a open loop control system. It is not closed loop. The reason why it is called as open loop, because we are not differentiating the ambulance requirement and a normal vehicle requirement, right? Even ambulance, if I don't move my vehicle towards left or right side, and if I don't give a way to the ambulance, then even ambulance should stop. So traffic signal what we have, it doesn't making ambulance to move front. So signal is just showing red or green, even though it is an ambulance or even though it is a normal vehicle. So it is not differentiating. Now think, if you make the traffic signal whatever we have to work as a closed loop. Okay, let me make the traffic signal to work as a closed loop. So how does it work now? Your traffic signal will have a system which can differentiate a normal vehicle and an ambulance. Okay, which can differentiate a normal vehicle and an ambulance. Once the ambulance is coming towards that particular road, your traffic signal, irrespective light red, the color of light it is showing, once the ambulance comes in that particular way, it will try to give priority to that particular way where the ambulance is coming, and it will allow the ambulance to move very soon. That is one way. Or else what you can do is, you can keep an RFID tag on the traffic signal, where you can, RFID reader on the traffic signal, whereas you can put a tag for the ambulance. Once the tag of the ambulance has been identified by the RFID reader which is present on the traffic signal, then that RFID reader will give a signal to the traffic light system to show green, so that the ambulance can move very soon. Or else the third thing is, it can give an identification for the ambulance when it is moving far. Okay, let the ambulance is very far and ambulance is coming towards the way where the huge density of vehicles are there and that vehicles can't move. Okay, in that case what it happens, the traffic signal can give an automatic message to the ambulance saying that don't come in this way, because you can see huge density of vehicles. So it is better you try to deviate your way wherever the way is cleared for your ambulance to move. So it gives an indication to the driver through message, and that message is been read by the driver, and driver will try to deviate his way, not moving through the way where the density of the vehicle is very high. Okay, so this is what about closed loop system. So closed loop system will have some sort of feedback. Okay, that is what feedback, right? Open loop system will not have any feedback. It keeps on working however it wants. Closed loop system will have a feedback. Feedback in the sense, the traffic signal giving an information to the ambulance. That is what the feedback is all about. Okay, once the system is ready to give feedback, such system will be very good controlled. Okay, that is what closed loop control system is all about. I hope with this example, I hope you got brief knowledge on what is open loop control system and what is closed loop control system. Okay, now let us see the block diagram of open loop control system. Now even though we have open loop and control, closed loop, in certain cases we normally use open loop. Okay, we see that open loop is much benefited than closed loop in certain applications. In certain applications, we see closed loop is much better than open loop. Okay, see, in certain tasks, we need the system to give continuously the same output, right? We can see, for example, the watch, whatever we have at home. Okay, the wall clock. So the wall clock should keep on running, right? It should keep on running in the same way. Every day it keeps on running. The time gets changed, the day gets changed, but the variation of that particular the longer needle and a smaller needle, it keeps on working in the same way. It doesn't get changed. It will never change in its lifetime. It is we should change time to time, right? Anyway, so the wall clock what we have at home can be an open loop. We don't need control loop there. Okay. So open loop control system will have only two blocks. One is the controller, the other one is processor. Okay. So your controller will receive the input signal R of t, processor will process the signal, and then the output what we get is the controlled output. Okay, but there is no feedback from the open loop control system. There is no feedback. So for example, the wall clock which I told you, there would be a bread toaster for example. Now bread toaster cannot be an open loop anyway. The reason why bread toaster cannot be an open loop, because by mistake if you raise the temperature while giving the input to the bread toaster, and the bread toaster what it gives, the bread will be black in color, which will never be edible to eat, right? So therefore bread toaster should be of closed loop, because irrespective value of the temperature that you adjust, your bread toaster will only receive the temperature for which it should work, and it should give a fine bread for you to eat. Okay, so therefore bread toaster is also good enough if it is a closed loop system. But anyway, most of the bread toasters what you people get in the market are all open loop. The reason is closed loop is very expensive than open loop systems. So if you need any bread toaster for 500 rupees, do you think they will give you closed loop bread toaster? Never, because closed loop is you need an extra circuitry in that bread toaster which can compare the temperature that you give and the temperature for which the bread can be edible to eat. So that comparison circuitry is needed in that bread toaster, so that becomes little bit expensive. Okay, so therefore open loop control system is what normally you see in bread toaster in the market that you get. Okay, so I hope you are clear with the open loop control system block diagram. I don't think you need any explanation on this. It is self-explanatory whatever you see here. So it controls, so it accepts the input, it will try to control the input, and then it will process it and it gives you the controlled output. Okay, now what is controller? Controller is the job where the input, you can't give whatever input that you can give for a bread toaster. Bread toaster can accept the input is what? The voltage that you give, the power supply that you give. So if it is working on a battery, and if you give a power supply, will it work? No. So that is what the controller job is all about. Okay, the processor will heat the bread. That is what processor is. Output what you get is the edible bread that you eat. Okay, that it comes out from the bread toaster. Anyway, what are the advantages? The advantages of open loop is always, first advantage is it is very simple to design, because we don't have a feedback system here. So it is very simple. I will give you some input, you give me always the same output. That is what I am saying for open loop. Therefore it is very such systems are very simple in construction, very much convenient when output is difficult to measure. Yes, because in open loop the output remains constant. Therefore you need not to have any difficulty in measuring the output. That is why open loop control system is much convenient. Such systems are easy from maintenance point of view, exactly, because no feedback, no finding out the error in the system. You give input, it gives you the same output always. So maintenance is very easy. Okay, generally these are not troubled with the problem of stability. Yes, definitely you give input and same output, if it is giving, stability is good, right? You are getting the same output again and again. So it means that the stability is very good, 100% stability I am getting from the system. Now such systems are simple to design and hence economical. Definitely maintenance cost error, you will not have maintenance problem. You will, it is very simple in construction. Output is not so difficult to measure. Then stability is always good. Then definitely the economical point of view, if you think, it is very good, right? And it will definitely be the cheaper system, because maintenance cost is free. So you go and purchase any car in the market. Now car, if you purchase from Maruti, maintenance cost is very less. Now you purchase any other car in Hyundai or any other BMW or Skoda and all, the car is also expensive. The maintenance cost is also very expensive. So it is you to decide whether you need Maruti or BMW or Skoda. It is left to you. But when I see maintenance cost is less, then definitely the entire system cost will be economically good. Okay. Disadvantage is what? Definitely inaccuracy and unreliable. Right. I told you about the bread toaster. you give 100 degrees and 1000 degrees centigrade, where the bread toaster can accept only 100 degrees centigrade. But this open loop control system, as we don't have any feedback, it will accept the 1000 degrees centigrade input, and it will give you the bread which is very black in color. I hope you know whether you will eat it or not. Okay, so such systems are inaccurate and unreliable, because accuracy of the system totally dependent on the accurate pre-calibration of the control. Okay, so you need to calibrate the controller always. You all know about calibration, right? Calibration meaning here is you need to adjust the controller again and again for its initial position. Okay, that is what calibration is all about. So I think in instrumentation subject you might have learned what is calibration is all about. So such systems gives inaccurate results, right? Definitely, because it's the system, if there is any variation in the external environment, definitely such systems cannot sense environmental changes. So that is the reason why it is inaccurate. Why? Because you give input, it gives the same output. If there is any changes in the environment, for example, then such system will never change its output. So I think we always need a system which should also accept the environmental changes, right? Then only we can say, okay, this system is very good because it is working based on the environmental changes. So I will definitely purchase so and so system. That is how we decide, right? So anyway, fourth one is to maintain the quality and accuracy. Recalibration of the controller is necessary from time to time. So calibration of the controller is what which is very, very important here in open loop control system. Why recalibration? Because you give the input, and if you give some other input, you should see through that the controller will be recalibrated again for that input what you give. So that recalibration again and again, setting the controller to its initial position, is what which is should be done time to time, and that would be bit negative aspect of the open loop control system. Okay, so I hope you all understood what is open loop control system, and what are the advantages of open loop control system, and what are the disadvantages of open loop control system. Now we will see what is closed loop control system. So in a closed loop control system, as I said you, we will have a feedback element. This is what we have, a feedback element. In closed loop control system, we have a feedback element. So whatever I told you till now, like for a traffic signal or a bread toaster, what is the what would be the feedback that we have? For example, for a bread toaster, the feedback would be what? You give 1000 degrees centigrade, but the system will give a feedback saying, no, I can't accept 1000 degree. You do minus 900 with that 1000. Only 100 degree is what I can accept, and then it will accept that 100 degree, and it will try to give an output here. So this summing point, whatever you see here, this summation, this summing point is what? So here you give 1000 degree for a bread toaster, and it will give a feedback saying that no, 1000 degree cannot be accepted, so do minus 900. So 1000 minus 900, it will give the output 100. Now this 100 degree will be given to the system, and then the controller and processor will work. Okay, and then it gives you the fine bread to eat. That is the job of a bread toaster when it is designed under closed loop control system. Okay, so the closed loop control system will always have an input. So you can either write this transducer or command input. Nothing, these blocks are not required. I just took the block diagram which is present in the textbook. You can just give reference input as R of t. Okay, give R of t. Transducer job you all know, converting one form to another form, right? So anyway, that is not required to write here. So you just give reference R of t. For me, the concept of closed loop is what which is very important, not what components are connected. So the closed loop will always have a controller, processor, feedback, okay, and a summing point. The summing point is what which finds out the error. So here R of t is reference input, then E of t is the error signal, M of t is manipulated signal, C of t is controlled output, whereas B of t is the feedback path, path of feedback signal, whatever you can call. Okay. So here R of t is reference, E of t is error, B of t is feedback, M of t is manipulated, C of t is controlled. So now you all know what is reference input. I give 1000 degrees centigrade. What would be the error signal? Error signal is something where it compares 1000 degrees centigrade and the temperature for the bread to eat. So therefore that would be the error signal that will come out. So you compare R of t and feedback, and the output what it comes out would be an error. Error in the sense that error will say that this is what the amount of temperature that is required for the bread to heat. So then that error will be accepted by the controller. It will manipulate according to the processing requirement. Once manipulated input is given to the processor, processor will process it now, and then the output what we get is the controlled output that we get. Okay. So anyway, I think you got what is closed loop. Now we'll see what is advantages and disadvantages of closed loop control system. Advantage is accuracy of such system is always very high. Yes, accuracy is very high because it is a closed loop. There is a feedback, the traffic signal which I told, or the bread toaster which I told. So accuracy of that such systems will always be very high. Okay. Then such systems sense environmental changes. Definitely when some environmental changes will happen, then the feedback path will give a feedback saying, okay, this would be the environmental changes that is getting up, and try to work on it. Okay, so that is what the error signal comes out. Okay, so anyway, I think transistors behavior, you all know that it varies in terms of temperature, right? The voltage biasing output what you get will definitely vary with respect to the temperature, because the current gain beta varies in terms of temperature variation in the transistor. Okay, so therefore such systems can be considered to be such systems can be considered to be in terms of environmental changes that will happen. So in such system there is reduced effect of non-linearities and distortions. Now, yes, definitely there will not be any distortion or non-linearities because of the feedback path that we are giving. Bandwidth of such system, that is operating frequency zone for such system, is very high, definitely, because you are giving a feedback. Definitely the bandwidth requirement should be very high. In open loop you don't need such huge bandwidth. Okay, in closed loop, as you are giving feedback path, okay, for any system, therefore you should have huge space. Bandwidth should be very high so that you can work accordingly. So disadvantages, definitely it is complicated and time consuming from design point of view. So if a designer is designing a system under closed loop control system, definitely the designing of a closed loop will become a very complicated task, because feedback path design is very difficult task, right? Then definitely as we have a feedback path, definitely it is costlier, right? It is costlier system. That is why I told you most of the systems you get is an open loop, because closed loop is very costlier to design. Now the second is, due to feedback system tries to correct the error from time to time, tendency to overcorrect the error may cause oscillations without bound in the system. Now what is the meaning of the second disadvantage is, now you don't have any error in the system. Okay, the system is fine, but your system still taking time for the feedback path to work, and that feedback path will always work to find out the error. So though you don't have any error in the system, but still the system is verifying the error. So that time will be consumed. Okay, so you are trying to overcorrect the system. So therefore that overcorrection might cause an error, or might cause some different oscillations, which makes the system to go out of bound. Okay, so that is what the second disadvantage of the closed loop control system. Okay, so I hope with this knowledge you people have got what is the definition of system, what is the definition of control system, what are the different types of control systems, and what would be the advantage and disadvantages of those control systems that we see. Now let me show you some of the examples of control systems here in this block diagram, what you see. So this first one is an human being. Okay, this is air conditioning, or you can say house temperature controlling system. this would be bread toaster. Okay, and this would be traffic control. Okay, now human being is definitely a closed loop control system, which I told you earlier. So some input will be given. Okay, for example, position of book. Now what happens? The brain will see the book, means the eyes will see the book, gives the signal to the brain, and then brain gives the signal to the hands, and this continuously works until and unless the hand will lift that particular book and will try to move its position in terms of desired location. So eyes is something feedback path, right? Eyes is actually seeing the book. So the object seen by the eyes is what the feedback given from the brain, right? From the eyes to the brain. Okay, so from brain it gives to hand. So brain would be controller, eyes would be feedback path, hands would be the processing, output is what the position of the book that you are going to take, change. That is what human being, why it is called as closed loop control system. Air conditioning is something, another example of closed loop control system. You need to have desired temperature, you give as an input. You have a valve in your air conditioning system, and then heating system will be there. Now you will have a temperature sensor. Temperature sensor is the comparator which compares the room temperature with the environmental changes that is happening. That will be verified with the room temperature, and if the temperature is very high, what happens? This feedback path, this sensor will try to reduce the temperature to the room temperature. That is what it gives to the valve, and that heating system will reduce the temperature to the room temperature. Okay, so here valve is the controller, heating system is the processor, temperature sensor is the feedback, and the desired input is what the input that we give. Coming to bread toaster, which is open loop. Therefore, these two are closed loop control system, whereas these two are open loop control system. Okay, so bread toaster, you give time, you give controller, then eating process of the bread, and you will get the actual toast. Okay, anyway, I told you already how bread toaster will work. Okay, traffic controller also is also one which I have explained you. So whatever the traffic signals that we have in our traffic signals, whatever we have in our roads is all open loop only. It is not closed loop, and I hope I have already told you if the traffic signal is made as closed loop, how it works. Okay, I think by now you people are clear with the definition of control systems, and you are also clear with the types of control systems, which is open loop and closed loop. You also clear with the advantage, disadvantages, and then I showed you some examples of control systems which you need to know it. Okay, they will ask you in the exam what would be the explain any one closed loop control system with the help of block diagram. That is what they can ask you, or they can ask you to differentiate open loop and closed loop, which we will discuss it now. They might ask you to list out all advantages and disadvantages of open loop or closed loop control system. So such questions is what you can see in control systems. So therefore, now what is open loop control system and what is closed loop control system, which we have seen. Now we will see what are the different differences that you can see in open loop and closed loop. The first difference is any change in output has no effect on the input, right? Because feedback doesn't exist. So you give an input, it gives you always the constant output. So it doesn't change the input. You don't have any freedom to change the input. So you don't have any freedom in the bread toaster to say, okay, change the input so that I can accept that input. No, that is not possible. You give 1000 degree, it will accept 1000 degree, and it gives you the bread output. Okay, so that is what open loop is all about. Closed loop is changes in output affects the input because you have a feedback. So you see if there is any problem that you face in the output, then it gives you feedback saying, okay, this is not the input you should give. Change the input. So that is what the feedback is all about. Okay, so that is the first difference. Second difference is output measurement is not required because it is a constant output system. Therefore, you need not to measure the output in this open loop. In closed loop, you have to measure the output because the feedback should be given, right? So definitely you should measure the output always. Third is feedback element is absent in open loop. Yes, no feedback. Third here is feedback is present. Now you just stress the differences with respect to the rubber band. Okay, you elaborate it in a different points. Error detector is absent in open loop. In closed loop, error detector is necessary. In open loop, it is inaccurate and unreliable. We have seen why it is inaccurate or unreliable, because of the recalibration of controller always. Closed loop, highly accurate and reliable because of the feedback path. Open loop, highly sensitive to the disturbances. Yes, because of not having the feedback path, definitely it is very sensitive for the disturbances that you give to the system. Closed loop, it can be less sensitive because of the feedback path. Any variations that you do with the system, because of the feedback path, the system doesn't vary. It gives you a proper output. That is why it is less sensitive to the disturbances. I can't say no sensitive, because you can't design any system which is 100% accuracy. No, you can't have any system which can give you 100% accuracy. You don't get such devices in the market. For example, coronavirus, whatever the antivirus that came into picture, the vaccinations that we are going to take, do they say it is 100% result it gives? No, they are predicting 90%, 80% and so on. Okay. In same way, even in the systems also, in hardware systems also, you cannot predict 100% accuracy in most of the systems. Highly sensitive to the environment changes is what the 7th point. In closed loop, yes, it is less sensitive to the environmental changes. Feedback is what which makes all these things to happen. Now open loop doesn't require much bandwidth, therefore bandwidth is small in open loop. Closed loop, due to the feedback path, you need use space, so bandwidth is very large. In open loop, simple to construct and cheap. Yes, it is very simple and very cheaper. Closed loop, complicated because of the feedback path and very costly because of the feedback presence. The system becomes very costly. In open loop, generally it is stable in nature. Closed loop, stability is the major consideration while designing. Okay. So open loop will always give you the same output, therefore stable, it is always stable. But in closed loop, because of the feedback path, you are re-verifying the stability again and again. Okay, so that is what you do in closed loop. Open loop, highly affected by non-linearities. You give non-linear input, it gives you different output. So non-linearity is, it's very sensitive for non-linearity. Closed loop, no effect of non-linearities, or we can say reduced, because no word we cannot use for any system. It is reduced effect of non-linearities because of the feedback path present in the closed loop. Okay. So all these 11 points you need to write, because they might ask you for 6 or 8 marks, differentiate open loop and closed loop. So it is better always to write 10 different differentiate points that you write in the answer that you write in the exam. Okay. I hope this complete video is much clear to you, the concept of control systems, different broad classification of control systems, and then advantages and disadvantages of those classification of control systems, examples of those control systems, differentiation of those control systems. Okay, I think this video allowed you to learn all these various concepts. Okay, thank you.